The Honourable Prime Minister of Fiji, the Honourable Cabinet Ministers who are here, the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Fiji, members of the Diplomatic Corps, permanent secretaries, members from the tourism sector, Andre and his team, Shanaz and all the other pilots and the flight attendants. Bulavinaka, and a very good evening to all of you. I have my phone here because I've just asked the budget team about the $1 million allocation that we made. And I remember talking to the Honourable Prime Minister about this. And when he agreed to this, we were able to put this into the 2016-2017 budget in Head 50, much talked about Head 50, where it says $1 million has been allocated for the establishment of a flight simulator school. Today, Honourable Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually opening the Fiji Airways Aviation Academy. It has, in a way, progressed. And just for those of you who may know, when we had allocated $1 million, they in fact only used $917,400. They did not use the entire $1 million. Some politicians may call it a savings, but it's actually not a savings, but they just used the lesser than $1 million. Ladies and gentlemen, I just have a few words to say, predominantly to thank everybody for having given your support in terms of getting this academy completed. And I'd like to start from the beginning with the Prime Minister. Any new project, any new vision requires a particular level of commitment and also a commitment to be stoic about it, to be able to make that commitment and actually stick to that path. And I think notwithstanding the sort of criticism I remember that we copped at that point in time when presenting the budget, the fact that the Honourable Prime Minister agreed to this and agreed that we need to get this done has meant that we've actually got it done today. So that level of commitment is always very important. As we have seen how we've actually progressed in respect of our response to the pandemic, the particular level of stoicism, the particular level of commitment and having a vision and a path, notwithstanding criticism, you can actually achieve your objective. And today we have achieved 80% of the population at least being fully vaccinated. We had the Honourable Prime Minister a few months ago make a number of announcements which again face a lot of criticism, yet it was visionary. Today we have countries like New Zealand, etc., following exactly the same path. And I'm not doing this or bragging about it, I'm essentially demonstrating to you that in order to be able to deal with crisis, in order to be able to ensure that we have some form of vision in respect of the economy, you need to be able to stick to a game plan, come what may. And I think that's the dividend that we are reaping today. And as we have heard, both from the Prime Minister and Andre, that this academy actually offers a fantastic opportunity for Fijians, of course, fantastic opportunity for Fiji Airways in terms of growing the HR capacity within the organization, but also the ability of Fiji Airways to reduce the expenditure and indeed gain revenue. And that's one of the things we talked about in 2016-2017, how Fiji actually could have pilots from Australia, New Zealand, USA come and train in Fiji. Our cost structure is less. Our hotels are far less cheaper. One of the things that Andre did not mention is that when we used to send the pilots to Singapore, a hotel room rate was about $600-700, depending on the time of the year. They'd pay a single night Singapore dollars. Now, if you have a pilot coming from USA, they may pay $300 Fijian in a hotel, which means our hotels will be filled. The location of this academy is across restaurants, hotels, other amenities that Fijians actually own, who will also benefit from this. So the economic fallout in respect of a positive fallout is phenomenal. And I think this is the type of vision that we need to be able to appreciate and indeed engender. So I will be asking you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to actually put your hands together. For all these people that I mentioned, please put your hands together for the Honourable Prime Minister. I'd also like to really thank Andre. Andre has been really phenomenal. It's a blessing indeed to have Andre with us in this COVID period also. The fact that we have this 1st December announcement made by the Honourable Prime Minister We had Andre and his team working behind the scenes with Shanaz, working with Ministry of Health to ensure we have all the certification processes in place, transparent processes in place, international recognition of the pathways. So today, for example, airlines know exactly what type of people to load on their planes when they do come to Fiji on 1st of December. The equivalent of ATSs in Sydney, Auckland, San Francisco, LA, wherever else that they fly from. They know what are the protocols that we have, and there needs to be adherence to that. And they've done a fantastic job in respect of that. And again, the type of financial issues that we have faced, all airlines in the world face that. A number of the airlines in the world actually had direct taxpayer-funded bailouts of airlines to keep their staff on board. We did not do a direct taxpayer funding of the airline. We provided guarantees. And those guarantees actually have meant a lot. And we will continue to do that because as an island nation state, we need to ensure that we have a national carrier. People from Sydney cannot drive to Fiji. We're not on a continent. They need to fly to Fiji. The ability for Fiji to say, we will open our border on 1 December and say that with surety can only be made if we have our own national carrier. If we did not have a national carrier, we would be subject to the whims and fancies of any other foreign carrier. They may have decided, well, let's not go to Fiji on 1st of December, let's go on the 5th of December. So we would have been sort of sitting there twiddling our thumbs. But we are able to do that. The hotels are able to market themselves from the 1st of December because we have a national carrier. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, as patriotic Fijians, we need to ensure that we continuously support our national carrier, in particular when the national carrier is being run in a very sound commercial and financial basis. I'd also like to thank the board of Fiji Airways, Rajesh Punja, and the directors. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for them. I'd also like to thank all the other development partners. We've had ADB, we have had Australia and New Zealand governments behind the scenes working with us, whether it's been through the health facilities, as the Honourable Prime Minister has said, in terms of provision of vaccines, and all the other development partners, including some of the MDBs that have participated with us. I'd like to, in that respect, also thank the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Fiji, because he does a lot of work behind the scenes in terms of ensuring that we actually have an economy that's also very diverse in terms of spreading our risk. Because you can't have cyclones come and go. Cyclones is not going to affect this building. If you have a cyclone entering the cyclone season, we'll still be able to generate revenue. And that's what we want. So again, I'd like to thank all our development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for them. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to also thank finally all the staff of Fiji Airways. I know they have been through some very trying times. They've, of course, with all the flights, as announced by the Honourable Prime Minister, we're opening up our borders. It means more and more Fijians will be re-employed or employed as new staff members of Fiji Airways. And it is through those people, these wonderful people who are standing here, the pilots that are there in the corner, that we are able to stand up and be able to open ourselves up to the world. And it has been their fortitude in respect of ensuring that we continue as a viable proposition as a national carrier. Please put your hands together for them, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to just use this opportunity to please appeal to all of you. I see a lot of people here from the tourism industry, tour operators, hotel operators, duty-free people. This is one opportunity that has been driven by government, driven by our Prime Minister. Let's take this opportunity and be able to do well for your businesses, of course, first up, and be able to do well for your country, because it is that level of commitment and partnership and collaboration that we require to be able to navigate ourselves in this new pandemic world. Thank you very much.